All right, well, let's talk about Antarctica. As the Trump administration cuts budgets for groups like the National Science Foundation, scientists may need to rely more on private tour companies for their research. Meteorologist Chase Cain traveled to Antarctica to explore how ecotourism could make a difference.
Traveling 9,000 miles to Antarctica comes at a cost to our planet. Transportation produces 15% of the pollution making Earth hotter, so I was not surprised my followers noticed.
Does that make me a climate hypocrite for traveling so much? I got this question in a comment.
But this is not a story about shame or guilt. It's just about considering how and why we travel.
These old cliches of seeing is believing. You know, David Attenborough's quote of,
I've always believed that few people will protect the natural world if they don't first love and understand it.
and I think that's really important, and that's the core of what we think, is you have to be able to see things to protect it. By seeing Antarctica, you get to understand its importance. It really sort of opens this Pandora's box of emotions.
The most common emotions seem to be a mix of awe and childlike wonder.
Undoubtedly the most incredible thing I've ever experienced. And there's another whale.
So I think actually experiencing a place brings it to the fore of your mind. It makes you feel a kind of emotional investment, what's called place attachment.
Elizabeth is studying what she calls the ambassador effect. HX Expeditions gives free travel for researchers like her, and in this case, she's interviewing passengers to understand how visiting Antarctica shapes views on climate change.
And what we have found actually is that people who come down as climate deniers are probably going to go back as climate deniers because their views aren't tied to knowledge. You're better off providing routes to action for people who are already on side, which is the majority of people who visit Antarctica.
She's referencing a peer-reviewed study across 125 countries, finding 89% of people want their country's leaders to do more about climate change. Though lower in the U.S., still 3/4 of Americans want our leaders to do more, like the Hickey family visiting from Washington.
You know, we talk a lot in our family about global warming and its impacts, but I think this cruise to Antarctica for us was one to kind of show them the importance of what they will inherit and trying to take care of the Earth.
A message reinforced across this hybrid-powered ship. Giant batteries mean 20% less fuel. Newly installed sensors monitor changes in the ocean. It has an interactive science lab, lecture hall, and excursions to collect data for guest scientists who are studying everything from snow algae to penguins and whales.
We would not be able to support the research that we are supporting if we had not paying customers that would allow our ships to go down south. But I am convinced that this should not be a one operator effort. This should be an industry effort because we only have one planet.
In Antarctica, I'm meteorologist Chase Cain.
So if you want to go to Antarctica for your next spring break, for one, it'll probably take more than your spring break. It's usually like 2 weeks or something.
Okay.
Yep.
The best way to do it, take a cruise from the most southern tip of South America. I think it's a small town, it escapes me right now, in Argentina. The problem is you got to take that across what's called Drake Passage.
Yes.
And it's known as like the most dangerous body of water in the world because of the waves. So I had one of my best friends did it a few years ago, and it took several attempps to go.
See, that's what scares me, is
Yeah.
that passage.
Yeah, that's the really difficult part. Once you get to
Yeah.
Antarctica, it's actually fine. You can see the penguins, and
Then you have to go back.
but the passage between Americas to
Yeah.
it is the tough
Is
part.
it Drake's Passage? Is that what it
Drake Passage?
Yeah.
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 I would do it.
You would?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Is it astronomical?
It's astronomical.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Maybe I can get the station to pay for me like Chase did.
Okay, yeah, if that's the case. Do you know
don't
what's
think they
keeping
will.
me? The colds? Is because I remember I was complaining when we were in the 30s a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Here are the current conditions here in Antarctica. -63.
Okay, maybe I'm rethinking
Nope.
my idea.
Nope.
It feels like 89 below. Now, there is, if you ever look at the map, there's that like a long little kind of like island that sticks out. That has historically gotten above freezing.
Look at
but,
the high.
Okay.
Yeah, the high is, -37. So,
How does one even dress to like peek your head out just for a minute
I don't
from
even
there?
know.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm just thinking.
And the
Like,
wind is 20s. Oh, no.
You pay a lot of money to go,
yeah, talk about a wind
to go
chill.
be that miserable.
Which, by the way, of course, the world record for the coldest temperature was set in Antarctica. This is back in 1983, so it's been a while. Just a balmy negative 128.6 degrees.
Let me just say, I'm grateful for those who want to go and do the research.
Good for
Thank you for doing that for those of us who don't have the interest.
You do you, but I can't do it. By the way, the coldest Charlotte has ever gotten is -5, and I think that is terrible.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's unheard of. Wow.
So, well, there you know.
Yeah.
That's all I know about Antarctica. And also, fact number 3, I will never be going. Maybe Alaska. I think that's nice.
Alaska,
yeah.
I would do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Alaska, it's cold, but I don't have to go through the most dangerous waters in the world. So